Greetings, fanboys and fangirls, and Masters fans everywhere around the world. Today, we're actually going to be having what I would like to call a mega unboxing of practically the entire Masters of the Universe Origins toy line up to this point. And so, as I unbox, we're just going to discuss some of the things about Masters and hopefully have a good time as we go. This is kind of the calm before the storm as we get kind of a deluge of new retail Masters product for the first time in years. And it's going to be based on Kevin Smith's new show, Masters Universe Revelations. And it's also going to be based on Netflix's new computer animated show. So this is kind of a way for us to look back at Origins before potentially, and we're not sure if it'll be replaced or what, but there is a potential that it won't be the focus of Mattel anymore. Let's get into the mega unboxing of the Masters of the Universe Origins action figure line, early 2021 edition. First of all, you'll notice that right here in the front, I have all of the figures that I have already unboxed, and a couple of them I reviewed here on the channel. But the main purpose today will be to look at a lot of the newer figures for 2021. Before I can do that, though, I finally got in a Scareglow. So if there's one figure in the line that I think people have had the hardest time getting a hold of, it's definitely been Scareglow. And it's one of those things to where you hate it, that it's been a problem for people. And it happens in every line. There's always one figure that's a little harder to acquire than all the others. And Scareglow is definitely that. It's one of those situations where I honestly didn't think that it would still be like this into early 2021, but here we are. And I can't believe it, but it's still incredibly difficult to find this guy. And all of these have incredible artwork, and here is the artwork on the back for Scareglow. Love this. This is one of my favorite parts of each of the packages. And it just shows you the feature where he glows in the dark. It is pure, like, kind of rubbery plastic, but look at how convincing that looks as fabric. On camera, I don't think I would ever be able to tell the difference. Even the little, like, rope thingy that holds it together in the front actually looks like it's fabric, like it's a little string, and it's kind of amazing. All these figures are usually pretty sturdy. However, I have had my share of breakage in this line. He-Man took a dive off of my shelf, and it wasn't on a carpeted floor. It was on the hard tiled floor. And sure enough, his leg busted right off. So most of the time, it's been fine, but like this knee joint, I can already tell is a little stuck. So a little heat and a little patience might go a long way with some of these guys. Scareglow to me probably looks the most like his original retro counterpart of practically any of the toys. As a matter of fact, from a distance, it's always hard for me to even tell when I see pictures of this guy if we're talking about the Origins version or the original version. So really great, and he does come with his original staff accessory. And let's see how glowy he is. I put him right next to my studio light. Oh yeah. That thing is glowing.
See how my body's glowing like that? Yeah, a lot of people can't do that. Come get some of this glowing.
We'll just take a quick look to show you that, yes, you do get an actual mini comic. And this was the Wave 2, I believe, mini comic. All right, and next up we've got Hordak. Now, I'm the type of guy that I think Hordak is just as great, if not more so, than Skeletor. Maybe heresy to some people, I guess.
Heresy! Destroy it!
And here is the cool artwork that we get on the back. All right, let's get this guy out of the packaging. It's kind of easy to destroy those comics if you're not careful. And it looks like it is a Ninjor comic, Sneak Attack. Okay, it shows you what you can swap. Here's just a little peek inside the comic, one of the new ones that we get. Can't wait to read these. The artwork in these is really, really good. A lot of the times with mini comic situations and toys, the cover will look good, and then the inside will look pretty rough. But no, not here. It looks awesome. Another weird thing that they do with some of these accessories is they put them in little plastic bags behind the figure. And here is Hordak out of the packaging, and he looks fantastic. I really like all of the toy-accurate details, particularly funny things like the red teeth that we wouldn't see much these days, and things like the armband. I like how Hordak's head is sculpted into the chest there. He does have a hard plastic cape. Let's go ahead and gear him up with those accessories. That clamps over the wrist like that. And he comes with the Horde bat here. Take that and plug it right over the arm like a gauntlet. And then it has like this strap. You just guide it through. Looks awesome, and I think it's a very cool look for Hordak. All right, next up, let's go to the good guys. We've got Roboto. So here he is in the packaging. He looks fantastic. You can twist his waist and unleash his robot power. The same thing happens with me. It includes a comic book, and we have this awesome artwork. I really think that this art, even though it's not the same as the old oil paintings, that they're really nice, and these look awesome. I would love to have frame versions of all of these. Here's some of the new figures we have in the back. It does come with a mini comic, and this is the one for the other wave. Usually in a wave, they have the same mini comic for all the figures. Once again, the artwork inside the actual comic doesn't disappoint at all. It actually looks fantastic and lives up to the nice work on the front. Oh, this is neat. Look at this. So the gears turn and the mouth opens too. Wow. That's actually a really cool action feature. Funny little bag of accessories. Here is like a wrench hand. Here is like a blaster, and that's it. All right, looking at Roboto here. I love all of these little details. As I mentioned earlier, the gears turn, and it's really neat looking. He has a wonderful RoboCop head up here. I do think that that means that there's no real articulation in the neck. It amazes me how much these arms actually remind me of the Masters of the Universe Classics arms, even though it's in a slightly smaller scale. And then on the back, you can see the gears turn as well, along with copyright information done in transparent plastic. Always exciting. Here's just some of his attachments. He gets an axe. These just pop right out. And these are probably interchangeable with other figures as well. He has a gun, and he has like a wrench. If we look at Trapjaw here, we can unplug that, and sure enough, they do pop in for Trapjaw attachments. So I'm loving Roboto here. I think he's one of the more unique releases in the line. I think it would have been cool if he'd come with a regular hand, though, as one of the attachments. All right, moving on. Let's go back to the bad guys. Tri-Klops is one of the few characters I actually missed out on in the Masters of the Universe Classics line. I remember that I thought that they had gone a little too close to the original toy with the Classics design. It's a funny thing to say, but that was at a time when they were doing a lot of revisionist design, so I didn't think it matched very well. Then, of course, it became wildly expensive. So here's the artwork. I absolutely love this. It has more of that faux oil painting style. All right, let's go ahead and open him up. He also comes with a little guide about what can be swapped and removable. And he comes with the same comic we saw earlier. As for his action feature, here is one eye, and you turn it. And here is the other, so you just spin that around. Under this, it's really bizarre. There's kind of nothing under there. Like, he's just got blank flesh. That'll keep you up at night. I have no idea if this thing can be removed safely or anything like that, but you can see what I'm talking about. So I like that feature. This is more neutral, and this is angry eyes. And then we have this one, which is super angry eye. So in total, there are 3 different looks here on the visor. We're going to keep him angry right here. I think it turns out great. We get this really cool Tri-Klops sword. It even has the eye logo on it. And here's Tri-Klops all geared up. Love this. And I think this one turned out great. And like I said, I think that, honestly, this is a more faithful representation of Tri-Klops than either of the Classics versions did. The Filmation version, the color was off. The original version, it was just too much. The original toy just blown up for me. But this hits it just right. All right, let's go back to the side of good here. And we're going to be grabbing Stratos. This is a really cool looking representation of the original figure. It is so close, so accurate to that original figure. The head sculpt is very much has that kind of retro charm to it. On the back, we can see some of that cool artwork. And I mean, this is fantastic. I really hope that we get some of these guys too. That would be awesome. So let's go ahead and open them up. That comic we've seen before. Please don't break it. All right, this guy comes right out. Ah! So all the limbs on these guys are modular. And that means that, you know, they're going to be pretty free to come right out. It doesn't look like anything's wrong here. It's just that some of them are looser than others and some of them are tighter than others. All right, he looks really great. Let's get that magical Mattel baggie opened. The wings. And here we have Stratos with his wing attachments on right here. And I really like these because it's so accurate to the original. It's not one of my favorite head sculpts. It ends up looking a little soft and maybe slightly large even. And the smile does appear to be a little too accentuated for my tastes. And I really love the harness, which is probably one of the stronger points of the figure. And on the back, you can just see that he has a really nice jetpack. Do you guys remember that Stratos' voice in the 2000X cartoon was just straight up a Sean Connery impersonation? Good times. Next up, we will be going back to the side of evil. Here we have Mer-Man. This is definitely a toy Mer-Man and not a cartoon Mer-Man because the heads are very different, of course. On the back, just talks a little bit about his articulation. And here's some more of that great artwork. So this is so cool. You can see, oh, there he is. Skeletor's got that creep Spydor. Let's hope Spydor is really coming out, right? And it's not just an artwork thing. You guys have to remember, there is an unbelievably bad, so bad it's great commercial for the Spydor vehicle.
Call it master power. Some guys got it, some guys don't. Skeletor's got this creep Spydor.
It's awful. Scary.
Sight, you better step at master power.
Got it?
Sight, door.
It's awful.
Doors new from the masters of the youth. There's assembly to do. You need batteries too.
And another magical Mattel mystery baggie right here. And you know, this is something I don't get, that they have them in these plastic bags. I think it would be a heck of a lot easier if they had something a little less cumbersome to hold these accessories, but it's a really cool look for the sword and very kind of crustacean-y looking with the weird texture. Aside from his joints being incredibly stiff to work with, Mer-Man is super cool. It is a great representation of that original Mer-Man. The coloring is slightly different, but I think other than that, it looks really good. Hopefully we'll be getting a cartoon version as well. Of course, they did the con exclusive box set version, but there was no way in Despondos that I was going to pay that kind of price. I will resist, for the good of us all, singing the theme song because boy is it catchy. It is the Princess of Power She-Ra figure. And man, I was so very surprised when they announced this, especially given the soft goods that are included on this figure that really aren't on any others. You have some little things about the action features, including the mask, which is accurate to the original, and this awesome artwork to where we get kind of what I would call a consolidated She-Ra. And she's very much a combination cartoon and the original toy design. Up. Got a lookie right here. What a great little Easter egg. All right, let's open it up.
Some guys got it, some guys don't.
Got it?
Mystery bag. So not only is parts of her outfit soft goods, but the actual cape is soft goods as well, which is a first for this line. And here we have She-Ra. She is mostly the Teela body, an Evil End body, with some, of course, additions and extra details. The hair on the back is very nicely sculpted. I'm actually really surprised. You can actually take her crown or tiara here and turn it around, and you can easily get the mask look. Magical Mattel mystery bag, pair of nippers. I have the power. All right, really excited about these accessories. I always love to see representations of She-Ra's gear because they're so different depending on what source you look at. And this is really cool. I like how it's kind of a thinned down version of the power sword. And I like the blue, the glittery blue that they use for the gemstone. One of my favorite details are the eyes. I actually think that here the applications are incredibly even, really. Usually for this kind of thing, you know, it's kind of a problem, and I would say your mileage could vary. But I do think that this turned out really good and give her kind of that animation look. I do think the soft goods work out pretty well. These are a little messy up here, but I'm sure they can be readjusted. So overall, I think she looks great. It's enough to make me want to start singing the We've Got the Power song from the old Filmation movie. So there you go. But don't worry, I won't do that. Just kidding. We've got the power. Next up, we have Ninjor, the evil ninja warrior. And he's armed with the power of retro play. Okay, that's important. And this awesome artwork. You've got Randor and Clamp Champ right there. And man, is that epic or what? He's even got his monster feet displayed very prominently. And kind of makes you wonder, like, when you get good enough at martial arts, once you get your black belt, do they give you monster feet too? Here's our comic. And yes, we finally get the star of the comic. And don't forget, these are the only parts that come off. Please don't try to take any others off. All right, let's get them out.
Some guys got it, some guys don't.
Got it?
Everything in the bag. Let's mix things up. Let's get this guy out. You know, it's funny. I guess Mattel owns the copyright to Ninjor now, but you know, in Power Rangers, you know, way after Masters of the Universe, I guess it was, you know, 10 years later or so, they had a character Ninjor in Power Rangers Season 3, which is one of my favorite Power Rangers characters ever. He's based on Ninja Ban from Kaku Ranger, and they renamed him Ninjor, and I've always kind of wondered, I'm like, did they just, you know, think, all right, we'll just use this Master's character's name? I don't know. There's probably something called Ninjor before that. All right, so the sword can go back here, That's cool. Nunchucks. And you can take one of them and put them through back here, and the other one just hangs off. All right, and here he is, looking great. I really think that this one is very successful in emulating the original figure. Of course, it's all plastic here. There's no kinds of soft goods or anything like that. The one thing I would say is that it would be neat if they would have included like the belt sash thing, like the Masters of the Universe Classics figure had. However, sometimes you can actually mix and match that stuff. I do like that they have this sash right here, so that's cool. And yeah, everything else looks awesome. I think he's a worthy addition to the display. All right, and now we have a character that is more neutral, so it is Zodac. Now, in the original 8-back, I believe Zodac was considered to be one of the evil characters, actually. And then in the 2000X cartoon, they kind of clarified that he was sort of more in the middle. And he maintains the balance between good and evil. So it is appropriate that we do him last because he doesn't really fit in the whole scheme of the factions.
Maybe he'll get you. Maybe he won't. He's got master power. Some guys got it, some guys don't.
Got it?
Zodac is an interesting character because they had to do some kind of rearranging with him to kind of bring him into line with modern sensibilities a little bit in the 2000X continuity. Part of that was getting rid of the more bestial features of the original figure, like these beast feet and the kind of like hairy chest kind of deal, and making him more just like a standard human character. So this figure honors the original toys' intentions. I would love to see a release, just like they did with Classics, and I know that I'm like a broken record on that, but just like they did on Classics, I would love to see them eventually do one that is more like the show, with the glow-in-the-dark kind of tattoos and all of that. I just think it would be a great way to get the character back out there, and that way they can kind of, do both. I would also love to see them reuse this vest right here to do a Wonder Bread He-Man, which finally has been demystified by Scott Knightlick, the old brand manager of Masters of the Universe Classics line. And now we know that it really isn't a Wonder Bread He-Man, but instead it was a mail away from Mattel. But yeah, this is a really cool looking figure. I do think the colors pop really nicely. I think he might have looked a little better if this was raised up a little bit from the neck. He's kind of suffers from a little bit of that pinhead kind of look. But then again, it is Masters. Today, we're going to say that Zodac believes that the good guys need a little help because of that. Maybe you should have put us on base stands. And yes, indeed, Zodac has decided the heroes need a little more help today. And that's something that we'll get into, is that if you look, Mattel has actually done a really good job and seems very purposeful about the balancing in the line. So far, if you count Zodac as one of the good guys, and usually he is, it seems, we do have 9 good guy figures and we have 9 basic bad guy figures up to this point in early 2021. So it's kind of interesting, isn't it? I just thought that was something neat to point out. All right, so now we are going to get to the deluxe figures. So first off, let's go ahead and give He-Man the benefit of the doubt. So there is a very specific reason why I think a great many people are looking forward to this figure in particular. I love Battle Armor He-Man. As a matter of fact, he is my original He-Man. And this gets me to the story about kind of my only avenue to experience the original He-Man figures when I was a kid in the very early 90s. And that was that my older sister had actually picked this out because my dad's work was doing a promotion. It was with Mattel. You could choose a Barbie or a Battle Armor He-Man, and she went with He-Man, so a woman of good taste. Anyway, though, she got Battle Armor He-Man. I always had him around as a kid, and I absolutely loved it, specifically the gimmick. So this figure really does have a big tie to my childhood. But the reason so many people, I think, are curious about this and want it is that it does come with just a remake of the original He-Man head. And let's be honest, that figure that they released should have had that. As a matter of fact, the alternate should have been, these new heads. I think that they kind of goofed on that one a little bit, and the exact same situation is happening with Skeletor. So I do think that this is Mattel's way of making amends. This actually has artwork on the front, unlike the basic figures, and I love it. I think it looks great. And the card on this is really big. I can't quite get these into frame, but this is, a very vertical kind of slim card versus this huge wide card. This is actually probably the biggest card for, a basic figure that you'll probably see in a store right now. There's so much up here going on. I almost hate to open it. And I'm a huge, opener for this stuff. Here's the beasts, and I don't have these guys yet, but it's just worth noting that they're there. There's also a couple of vehicles. You can see that this does actually have an action feature, and here we have some incredible kind of widescreen diorama kind of artwork. So here's something funny. This original He-Man head, don't want to leave this packaging. You can see I've had to rip it a little bit more. This thing is really in here. I mean, check it out. You open this and they don't want to leave. Well, I got it out, but so much for saving the packaging. I actually really like this head quite a bit. It reminds me of some of the old mini comics. And speaking of mini comics, we actually get this. It is a unique comic just for the Battle Armor figures. And I think it looks great. It almost has a Bruce Timm look to it. Open it up. We get some really cool artwork. Love it, what we see in here. It's fantastic. So, you know, the other ones are kind of broad-chested, but man, this one's even wider, as it were. Let's look at that action feature. So let's see how it works. Looks like we just, yep. So you just depress it down and you kind of roll it, then let it pop back up. And yeah, it works really well. So when you hit it, oh no, oh no. So, hey, that actually works really well. I actually didn't even know if this would be a real action feature. I thought they would just be like plates. You would have to switch in and out. So I'm glad that it's a real action feature. I was always pretty disappointed that the Classics version was just these plates and it was really cumbersome and you had to take the thing off. Now this isn't removable. This is just his torso. So really cool. The head, you know, like I said, some people, he does look kind of terrified, but I don't know. It looks kind of awesome to me and way better than the head that he originally came with. But for as much as I like it, here's what we're going to do. It's got to go. And we'll just pop this on. And voila. Now that's the way it ought to be. That is the He-Man I remember. The great part is you'll be able to put it directly onto your original as well. So he does come with some cool accessories, including this, which is kind of a large transparent energy effect. And it shows that you just put it on the sword. So sure enough, here is the half of the power sword, just like the original. It's just a half. And of course, we'll be able to combine it with Skeletors. Just put that in, and hey, that actually stays really well. And it looks really cool too. So yeah, he actually holds it just fine. How cool. This would look absolutely great in a display. And we're going to put his battle axe that he includes in that one. Now, the previous battle axe was just like a really flat gray, and this is more kind of silvery. So really love that. Looks like his wrist is the thing that is a little weak. So maybe a dab of super glue in there would do it. But yeah, he looks really cool. Great figure. And here's Skeletor. Once again, there is artwork on the actual card this time, and that is lovely. Down here, we have the same deal going on where, you know, you kind of have a, you know, it's kind of strange what they've done with Skeletor because they're giving him such an expression. It's almost like his lips are painted like the teeth. But you do get this, the actual toy head. So that's what we like. That's what we wanted. And this incredible artwork, and I don't know about you, but it looks like Beastman is freaking the freak out. And even Evil Lyn is kind of scared. So this is awesome. All right, let's go ahead and rip this guy open since I destroyed the packaging. He-Man, I don't care as much now. All right. And wow, this flew right out this time. So, you know, he looks kind of pleasant here. He looks like he's having a good day. Looks like he's kind of smiling a little bit. The opposite of this. So, looks great. Love the torso print, especially for the little bat logo there. Oh yeah, that action feature works tremendously well. Actually better than the original Battle Armor action feature worked. I kind of like the Skeletor head. It's kind of funny. It's kind of neat. But just like with He-Man, I'm going to be taking this thing off immediately. And we're going to be popping on the original. And here's Skeletor all geared up, looking great with the Havoc staff, the shield, which has a very funny laughing skull head on it. He does come with a grasping hand, just like He-Man did right here. It looks like a thumbs up to me. I don't know about you. And with a head like that, it looks like he's going to give everybody a thumbs up. He's just happy to be around. And he does come with a half of the power sword, which can be hooked into He-Man's. And lastly, we have Ram-Man. I'm really surprised to see this. For some reason, it just didn't occur to me that they would do a fully tooled, brand new Ram-Man, but here we are. And some great artwork on the front. Alternate head. And we also have this incredible artwork on the back. Huge. And then we also have Faker back here. So hopefully we'll be getting that soon. He does have some spring-loaded action. Let's go ahead and open him up. do get a duplicate of the Battle Armor comics. We also get some instructions about the removable parts. So let's go ahead and get him out. Ram-Man be stopped by elastic bands? He shouldn't be, but he is. Arm came off. I think it's cool that even Ram-Man's arms are completely modular. So I'm really impressed by that. Yeah, he's got full articulation. This is very rubbery up here, so you can work with that. Down here, the only articulation is at the knees, and I'll have to heat that up, I think. Yeah, they seem a little tight. Nothing at the ankles, but it's all in service of his action feature, and he pops right up. So like that, and then spring up. Really cool. The head is interchangeable, and I don't think you can lift the armor off it. I think it's attached to the figure. And we'll give Ram-Man his armored head. I think this is really cool, and it fits right in there. That looks awesome. He does come with an alternate holding hand, and the other two are just fists. Man, that's a meat hook. And here's Ram-Man all geared up. So I think it looks really cool and has a pretty neat action feature, which actually works really well. And this will look awesome in your displays. All right, friends, and that does it for our very first mega unboxing here on the channel. Hope you've enjoyed watching us go through and unbox 12 of the incredible Masters of the Universe Origins figures. I absolutely love these things, and I think that they're a great way for Mattel to keep the brand alive. More than anything, though, they're the perfect way to reintroduce the original Masters of the Universe figures to younger children. Of course, in the past, we've seen Mattel do things like reissues and things of that nature that were, of course, meant to appease collectors more than kids. But finally, I think that they've hit the sweet spot with something that is affordable, because these things really aren't that expensive at retail. I think they're $7 or $8 at most locations. And they're also incredibly faithful to the original figures, with some of the sculpting seeming like a one-to-one replication in some cases. At the same time, they're very appealing to adults who have nostalgia for the original line, while also being incredibly appealing, I think, to younger audiences as well. Hopefully, Mattel can sort out some of their distribution issues, because I think the biggest problem that most collectors are experiencing right now is that at Walmart and some of the other major brick-and-mortar locations that carry these, there seems to be an overabundance of just He-Man and Skeletor. If they can get that sorted out, then I think that this could be a very successful line for them. I know that there has been some reports already that at some of their investors' meetings, they're already saying that this has actually been a bright spot for them, and we know that Mattel is actually struggling a little bit right now as a company. So hopefully that will be enough to keep this line going, even with the advent of some of the new lines coming around, including the new Netflix line that will be more aimed at younger kids, and of course the Masterverse line that's going to be based on Masters of the Universe Revelation, which will be the Kevin Smith series on Netflix. As for me, I am anxiously awaiting the release of the brand new Castle Grayskull. And of course, as soon as they ship my pre-order, I'll be reviewing that right here on the channel. So there's all sorts of great excitement with the line right now, and there's actually a lot of potential as we see where it can go. At first, like a lot of other Masters of the Universe Classics collectors, I was pretty disappointed to see that they weren't just deciding to bring classics to retail and enhance some of the articulation, re-release some of the main characters, and then do some new ones. But the truth is, they had pretty much wore that out, as they had released practically every single Masters character from the original toy line. I think they did release all of them from the original toys. However, we of course know that there's many more avenues that they can take in terms of media characters. So that's something that they can do for the future, and I certainly think that we'll see some Masters of the Universe Classic styled figures maybe someday later on. But for now, I really do feel like that Origins does a great job of scratching that nostalgic itch, and I know that these will look terrific in any of your displays. Our next video will actually focus on me ranking each of these figures, so I can't wait to go through and share with you what I think are the biggest triumphs and some of maybe the lesser figures in the line. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss out on that video and many of the others coming around, and of course, if you feel we deserve it, give us a like down below. It really helps us with the algorithm. So thank you guys so much. God bless you and yours, and I'll see you on Fanboys Forever. Take care. Until next time.
Now, some guys got it, some guys don't.
Got it?